What will you do to move Illinois out of its deadbeat status as it faces $1.5 billion in unpaid bills to healthcare providers? Governor?
Well, I propose something that other governors have been afraid to propose, and I think other statewide officials have been afraid to embrace. We need to use the income tax as a source of revenue to help pay our bills. Tax reform that actually reduces taxes on millions of Illinois citizens. We would use the personal exemption, entering income tax credits, and some property tax relief to get a real tax reform plan. In a lot of ways, February 2nd is a referendum on that, because my opponent has chosen to demonize the income tax, demonize me. He doesn't talk about our whole plan. He doesn't talk about any of the tax relief. And I think it's not a good way to go. He's going to talk about having a progressive income tax. I believe in that. I believed in it for 30 years. I put it on the ballot in 2004. People voted for it. I voted for it. He voted against it.
So many distortions, so little time. Governor, I've talked about your tax proposal. And I'm glad that we're both talking about more money for the state, because there's no doubt about it, we need more money for the state. I have proposed an income tax increase, but a graduated income tax increase. But the fact that you had 3 different proposals leads people to be confused about what exactly your plan is. So I don't think it's our fault that we don't understand exactly what you're proposing. We're talking about health care for those who can't afford it, those who can't access it. We're basically talking about the low-income, middle-income families. I don't think it's sensible at the same time to raise their taxes by 50% during a recession, especially when there are alternatives. Now, you talk about an honest approach. I don't know how honest it is to sign a budget and declare mission accomplished when it is unraveling and we have $4 billion in bills we can't pay right now, many of them to healthcare providers. This is not a responsible budget. This is not even close to a responsible budget.
Comptroller Hynes, do you have a plan to raise revenue other than the progressive income tax, which would take
yes.
action by the legislature?
Yes, we would raise over $3 billion in revenues through a $1 increase in the cigarette tax, and by leveraging that, we can pay off $3 billion in healthcare bills. Closing corporate loopholes, expanding the sales tax base to include luxury service items, increasing the taxation rate on casinos. These and other items would bring in billions of dollars into the state now and allow us to reduce the deficit and then put on the ballot an amendment to proposal to amend the Constitution for a progressive income tax.
I want to say one thing. In my budget on the 18th of March, we put in a cigarette tax. It passed the Senate. It's pending in the House. He didn't help at all. We also put in closing corporate loopholes. I've been for that since Noah. I believe in closing corporate loopholes, and I was the commissioner of the Cook County Board of Tax Appeals when I was talking about that. An independent group, Institute for Taxation and Economic Policy, has found that the comptroller's plan, if you want to call it that, is $3 to $4 billion short. It sounds good if you say it fast. Unfortunately, it doesn't balance out. I've got to deal with reality today.